Consider this video an addendum to the last one. Lunchly was announced on the 16th of September 2024 with MrBeast, Logan Paul, and KSI being the influencers behind it. I'm not sure if they had some contractual obligation to announce it at the time they did, or if all three of them are just incredibly tone deaf, which I'm more inclined to believe the latter these days, but this was not a smart decision. MrBeast was and still is right in the middle of the biggest controversy that he's ever been in. Logan Paul is seemingly always in controversy, be it crypto scams or his marketing for Prime, and KSI, well, we'll get to him in a minute. But you see, it wasn't just the controversy surrounding these three prior to the launch that made this such a PR nightmare, but the tweet of a single YouTuber that lit a spark to burn this shitty Lunchable knockoff to the ground. DanTDM, one of the most beloved YouTubers on the platform, released what is honestly just a perfect critique statement about all of these influencer brands, and just like that, it all started to fall apart. MrBeast's response to it was pretty standard, but I have to remind you that he said absolutely nothing about the dog pack videos that have come out in the last 2 months and that have exposed him and his company for being extremely unethical and borderline criminal, but he's more than ready to defend his brand new business venture. And that's why his penultimate sentence here really pisses me off. Obviously, eating fresh chicken and broccoli is healthier, but if someone is going to eat a pre-made meal, then I think giving them a higher quality version at roughly the same price is a net good, IMO. And why we launched Lunchly. This guy's full of shit. You didn't start Lunchly because you wanted to make higher quality meals for people. You started Lunchly to make money off your child fan base, like everything you do nowadays. And anything these guys say about the quality of Lunchly is downright comical because the mold. Logan Paul's initial response to DanTDM is what you'd expect from him as well, but it's also incredibly telling of the mindset behind a lot of these YouTubers and how they perceive making videos. I'll tell you what happened to YouTubers. We spent our entire lives creating content and building our brands. You see, there we have it. There's that phrase that keeps irking me. I mentioned it in the previous video, but content creation is a very cynical term, and more often than not, the people that use it don't view creating YouTube videos as making videos that are extensions of themselves, their experiences, and their personalities, but rather a means to build a brand. And that's why you can't trust anything these content creators make, because most of the time, it's just a means to an end to advertise to the viewers. Like for instance, let's take a look at this moment from MrBeast's video where he got a bunch of YouTubers to do some challenges. And here we have none other than Logan Paul, who fails the challenge and is forced to leave, but then this happens.
Will it make you feel better if I let you promote Prime on your way out?
Sure. Prime, the fastest growing beverage in history, available at Walmart, Target.
Now, at first, this moment, while out of place you think, is probably just Jimmy being nice by allowing Logan to promote his sports drink so he wouldn't feel so bad about losing this early. But with the added context of knowing that they've been collaborating for months on making a product that features both Logan's Prime and MrBeast's Feastables, well, this moment is obviously now just an undisclosed advertisement, which of course was kind of always obvious to you and I, the adults who have fully functioning brains, but it's not nearly as obvious to the millions of children that make up the majority of MrBeast's fanbase. It's really telling that MrBeast is willing to do business with a guy who consistently did crypto pump-a-dump schemes and scammed his fans out of millions of dollars with a fake NFT game. At this point, the whole benevolent billionaire act is sort of over and done, so I kind of get why, but it's still just so insane to me to see someone tank their own reputation like this. He should probably respond to the allegation. KSI arguably had the most interesting response, not just because of his initial response, but everything that followed it. His initial response was just him showing off some collectible figures of DanTDM, you know, like U2s and stuff. And I guess his point is that he's trying to call out DanTDM for his hypocrisy, but it appears that along with being a terrible musician, KSI is also illiterate. Dan suggests clearly that his problem is that the products like these that are made don't benefit fans in any way, and they're only made for the sole purpose of turning a profit. And he's completely right. But KSI didn't stop there. Oh no, he spent the last few weeks taking petty shots at Dan on Twitter. Dan hasn't responded at all, so it just looks really pathetic. So this is where the Lunchly story probably should have ended. These three influencers who founded it are kind of garbage people that exploit their fans and have zero self-awareness, and it's probably still gonna make them money. But then something truly amazing happened.
This is molded.
I like my cheese moldy, bro.
So remember what they were saying about making higher quality food and blah blah blah? Well, their cheese is moldy.
That's mold.
Aside from this being a lawyer's wet dream and probably some health code violations, it's definitive proof that MrBeast is just always talking out of his ass. There is no higher quality standard that they're trying to achieve. You wanna know why they made a snack box that's made for kids to eat when they're in school? Because they wanted to make money off their child fan bases. And I cannot stand it when they try and pretend as if they're doing something that's revolutionary. There's this weird attitude to modern entrepreneurship that's largely been popularized by the romanticization of the tech industry and Silicon Valley. This attitude of being a disruptor. You know, you come into a previously established industry and you take over the market by being innovative. Everyone wants to disrupt some industry, and influencers, or more accurately the companies that hire influencers for advertising, don't seem to understand that if a product's only worth is how it's tied to a YouTuber, then it's doomed to eventually fade out of relevancy. In 10 years from now, let's see what happens to Prime, Lunchly, Ryan Trahan's Joyride, and all of these other influencer products. My prediction is that they'll eventually have to sever their brand image from these influencers, or they'll just become irrelevant. Either way, Lunchly is a prime example of how to not launch an influencer product.
That